Excuse me while I spill my drink down my face. Uh, welcome, Crystal. I just gave you a really good understanding of what we're up for today because I'm now spilling drinks down my whole face. It's so nice to meet you. I loved reading about you. I also love spiritual people so much. I don't know, spirituality has been such a gift for me, because I kind of had to deconstruct from all the religious stuff and it's just such a different worldview to feel so fundamentally supported in your endeavors. You know what I mean?
Actually, it's to even just have faith in yourself for the first time ever, you
God,
know?
isn't that the truth? Yeah. Yeah, because, used to, when I would talk about love, I was always talking about the external love, you know?
Yes.
And now I don't see love as anything other than what I'm cultivating within. And I mean, yes, I share that with people. They share their love and I share mine, and we have this little alchemy of love and whatever. But yeah, it's that well, and I mean, I'm sure you would agree, but that was like the single most transformation right there was like, this is love. Like, oh my gosh. Did you? I like to ask this because, and now I'm not, starting the way I thought I would, but now I want to ask you this. Well, first of all, did you have a spiritual awakening or were you always exposed to this stuff?
Oh, no. I spent my first 50 years in absolute denial, a deep survival mode. And we can get into that story. There's a reason for it. But yeah, I was in the denial numbness for 50 years.
Did you
It
come to spirituality by way of like desperation? Like, I
Yes,
don't know what
COVID
else.
hit. I turned 50. I was unhappily married to my second husband. I was over drinking, and I was just like, there's gotta be an answer. There's gotta be
Yeah.
a way out, and it was just a little more desperate than I had been before, and I started meditating.
Oh.
Meditation answered some of the questions within myself that helped me realize I'm not just this human being that's supposed to live from the outside in, right? It was life is happening through me, not for me, right? Not to
Yeah.
me, kind of. So it really changed a lot of perception for me. I believed in God, but now I'm seeing things that are resonating, that are I'm starting to have overwhelming feelings of joy where I just start bursting into tears going, "What was that?" Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the proof was in the slowing down to listen to yourself. Yeah, for me, and I'd never done that in 50 years.
Can I say very honestly that I am a little surprised that meditation was so accessible to you? Because I know, like, I don't know if you had worked on the survival mode by then, but for me, meditation was not something I could do early on. And I'm only saying surprised just because I hear this is common, because I had to learn that, like, I wasn't crazy just because I couldn't turn my thoughts off. But, and I also learned it's not about turning your thoughts off, but I had this one focus of meditation, and so it was just absolute shit when I first started trying to. Did you do guided stuff or what?
I did a lot. It was mostly chakras. I really wanted to learn about my chakras and opening those up. So I really spent time with chakra opening
Okay.
meditations, and then I would just sit like. So what led me after that was straight into a spiritual practitioner course where
Okay.
I was desperate. My husband's telling me, "No, you're not gonna spend the money," and I just said, "I have to," and I just did it. And that's nothing I had done before, right? I was always,
Right.
like, listening to what I was supposed to, but my intuition and my spirit was saying, push that button, pay for it, just do it. Who cares what happens?" And I did. And so, gosh, that was 2 years into it, and that taught me that I had a lot of trauma. I didn't even know what trauma was. That taught me that I could go into my trauma patterns, find them, and release them energetically. It taught me that I
Yeah.
was energy. It taught me that I'm not just this human being that is supposed to absorb all the exterior experience.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're lighting up every center of my brain. So I'm gonna back up really quick just because I'm curious and I want the audience to kind of know you. What were some of those previous traumas? What did life
Mm.
start like and look like, and where were you
I
before all of this happened?
Yeah, so I was born an identical twin. We're the only 2 in this family of 4, and my father at the time was in the Army. And when he got out, my mom which we were about 6 months old, and my mom said he was a completely different person. Prior, he was writing her poetry. When he got out, he's just a drill sergeant. To the point
Mm,
where I don't remember the first 5 or 6 years of my childhood. I
okay.
have always had a fear and an inner hatred towards my father, but I thought maybe it was he hurt me that I didn't know, and come to find out, in our cribs, if we cried, he would basically take our bodies and shove us down and say, "No, shut up, be quiet, it's time for bed," right? So
Mhm.
there was no love, no connection. I didn't have that my whole life. I also had a mother who would be in denial and just watch it happen.
Yeah.
So a lot that's how it started. So there wasn't really that family love, but I had a grandmother on my dad's side who was an angel.
Aw.
And so she took us on. She showed us what real love, unconditional love was. And so we did have a balance of that at some point in our
You at
lives.
least saw an example of it. You knew what it could feel like.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And she would take us to church. So we had a little bit of that showing up in our lives, but not enough for me to believe in a God, right? It was this outside thing, and you have to go to church. So there was some of it introduced. I did go to a church camp when I was young and loved that. So yeah, so I never could, I was never self aware. I was never taught any kind of self awareness, self acceptance. It was, my parents divorced when we were 5. Okay.
Oh,
And now,
interesting.
me and my
Okay.
twin are living with my mother, who is desperate and destroyed over this. He had cheated on her. So
And
now
did he leave her too? Would she have stayed? Yeah.
she gave her the she gave him the ultimatum, stay or leave, and he chose to leave. So more hatred on our end, right, at 5. So my mom was destroyed. What I remember about my mom at that time is us trying to get her out of her bedroom. I'm 5 or
Oh,
6, and now we want love. So my sister and I really only had each other.
yeah.
My mom started dating, so we're bouncing from school to school. There was no stability whatsoever. We'd see my dad. He finally got remarried and created some stability, bought a home, had a good job. Um, and so when we were in 6th grade, we were done with the mom's boyfriends that didn't like us. One bought a paddle to spank us. The other one taught
What
us
is
like
it
we
about those
were
stupid ass men that come in and just
it's
really wanna be some authority? Ugh.
these are the things I remember, right? Another one spit on my sister, and it's just these random men that my mom would date. We'd hear
Mhm.
them having sex, all traumatic experiences that we just thought were life. So between the ages of 6th grade through high school, let's say junior, we lived with our father and had somewhat of a normal life. Um, we were kind of popular in high school. We knew the popular kids, but my dad
And
was an
what was he like at that point in your
Okay,
life?
my dad was an alcoholic,
Okay.
so slowly his 2nd marriage ended. I'm gonna be a senior in high school. My sister decides to move in with mom. Everything's destructing again,
Ooh,
and I'm 16 and I find my first boyfriend, and my dad hates him. So I run away. I
oh.
leave my senior year of school and I'm a runaway. And I'm in a different city with this man who is very narcissistic and likes to beat me. And I had one experience where it was about food, and he was very into, steroids, being fit, that kind of thing. And he abused me. I ran to the room. He got on top of me, hit me some more. I remember going to the bathroom when he let me up, and now he's loading a gun to kill himself because of what he did to me. So those are my ages of 16 to 18.
Wow.
I finally got away by calling my mom. 2 years later, and she said, "If you're really ready to come home, you call the cops." So I did. And they handcuffed me, sent me on a plane, sent me home, and I never looked back from that relationship, except that I wasn't gonna get beat anymore. That was the one thing I took away from that. I didn't take away that anything about love, it was only that I wasn't gonna get beat anymore.
I can just imagine who you became with that being the story you created, you know?
Yeah, a lot of protection.
Mhm.
My heart, I'm not giving anybody my heart at this point.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I went off to college. Brooks College, I was gonna become an interior designer. I've got a new plan. And I'm working locally at the gym. I'm in Long Beach, California. Everything's great until I meet my first husband.
Oh,
So
good.
now I'm 19, I'm graduating college, and I'm moving with my boyfriend, and I'm pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have this baby. So I'm 19, I just graduated, I start a new job, I get pregnant. This is all good, right? Now we're gonna have this family. So by 21, I had 2 children with this man that was just young as me, didn't really want children. He wasn't expecting a family
Yeah.
at
They
19,
never are.
but we're gonna do it. Well, that lasted. Um, but we decided when I was, gosh, so 19, so we're married. We're struggling, There wasn't. We're falling apart. There's not communication. We're becoming roommates. We're raising 2 kids. He's doing some physical interaction with my kids, and I'm doing the same thing as my mom. I'm watching it happen because I can't.
Mhm.
I'm frozen. If there's a
Yeah.
physical reaction, I'm frozen in at that point. So I let some of that happen. So by the time it was 1998, I'm traveling for work. I have a great job, which is making my husband resentful because I'm out all the time and he's home with the kids. And I got a phone call, and the first thing I think, it's an emergency phone call. And it's 1998. And first thing I think is it's my husband calling about the kids. Well, it was that my identical twin sister had taken her life.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that changed everything. It
Yeah.
changed every trajectory. It changed how I felt. I was half a person. My identity was gone. I
Yeah.
was a identical twin, and now I'm not, right? So, gosh, there's a little pain there, but I've worked so much on it that it doesn't show up like it used to,
Yeah.
you know? So with that, they took care of me to get me home. Um, I had no support. I had no tools for this grief. My parents were,
Yeah.
my family suffering. There are no tools for this. So I'm a light drinker at this time because everybody in my family kind of drinks. My husband's family, they're big drinkers. I'm a light drinker. Well, that changed. I turned to the only thing I knew how,
Yeah, you're
alcohol.
like, "Hey, you know what works?"
I'm going to numb out now. And my
Mhm.
whole brain, and my sister used to have this in her. And I was told through an energy session that I took this on from my sister. She used to have the fuck it's. Like, fuck this, fuck that. Excuse my language. Well, I
Oh, I
took
cuss
that
a lot,
on.
no worries.
I took that on. Everything I didn't care. I didn't
Mhm.
care anymore. I didn't care before, but now I really didn't care, right?
Yes. Yes.
So by 2006, I'm a drunk, I'm smoking cigarettes, I'm just trying to survive. My kids are teenagers, and I'm done with my marriage. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. He tried to hit me he pushed me and chipped my tooth, which was a physical altercation after a day of drinking in front of my best friend, which separated us. We tried to get back together and it never worked. So I
But
left.
y'all lasted a long time.
Yeah, 17 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kinda
For the
surprised, but
kids.
wow.
But I didn't know any different. I
Sure,
didn't
you were like,
know.
"You know what? This is not really, like, as bad as I saw, or
Yeah,
even as
right.
bad as I've experienced, so this
Yeah.
is probably normal."
This is normal love. We'll just not really have any.
No, but
So
listen, have you ever the love that you feel now, I've never seen, other than the people I've met through the spiritual community, my podcast, whatever, I've never seen anyone have a
Yeah.
relationship the way really we're intended to have one. So it was normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's no direction, right? It's survival mode. It is
Yes.
1000% survival mode. So now
Yes.
what I'm fighting is, okay, so I'm trying to get a divorce. I'm trying to hang on to my career without them knowing I'm an alcoholic, and I'm gonna keep drinking because now I'm single. Now I'm going to bars,
Yep.
I'm dating randomly. My kids are teens, they're suffering. Um, so much. So now I'm spiraling, right? So what do I attract? DUIs. I go
Yeah.
to jail
Yeah.
twice. I went to jail twice. The second time I spent a year sewing. I spent some time. I had 3 DUIs within 2 years. I was struggling. I could not survive. I had no discipline. I had no
Yep.
self-respect. I'm trying to keep my head above water, right? So my career's pretty much gone. Now I'm just finding jobs to keep jobs. Now I'm not an interior designer anymore. I'm doing like random sales jobs. So as I'm ending this long year of jail time, which it was like a daily thing, we had to go in and sew clothing and socks. That was my job. I met my second husband, and he kind of took me out of that. He took me away from what my past was. I moved to a new city, moved in with him. Yes, there was love there. But again, we started growing apart. The communication is something that is lost. Honest communication has not been in any of my relationships.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what kills it every time. And also, so towards the end, so now we're in 2020, I'm married and I'm growing spiritually. And he's only knows his
Same,
first
the
18
exact
years of
same.
being a Mormon.
My husband's a more, well, he's not, but he grew up that way. Yeah.
18 years of it, yeah. So
Wow.
he has his beliefs and he's gonna stick to them. But he's
Uh-huh.
even though he doesn't practice, he doesn't know any different. And
Yeah.
I'm over here going, "I just had a full-on experience with God," and he's like, "You're nuts."
Yeah. I don't, my husband's pretty sweet, so he's never said anything like that, but I know he doesn't believe any of the shit I do.
Uh-huh.
He's
Yeah.
like, he doesn't believe in the Mormon stuff either, but he was like, if I'm not gonna believe in that, I really don't believe in anything. You know what
And
I mean?
I didn't believe in it until I experienced it, right?
Exactly.
It's the whole you have to go within yourself. So within these 6 years of me expanding and growing spiritually and helping women, the biggest struggle I see in women is they can't it's the hardest shift for women right now is finding the willingness to choose different every day.
Mhm.
Really, that's what I'm seeing because I've had women ask for help and I see them spiraling, 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 and they never get to the help.
Right. Yeah.
You've got to the first shift, in my opinion, is the willingness that I'm gonna wake up every day with my alarm at 7 AM, and I'm gonna choose differently today. I'm gonna
Mm.
set an intention to choose differently every day because we'll get in that same pattern. And so I've got sisters that live in full-on chaos that suck my energy if I'm around them. I can't be
Mhm.
around
Right.
them? And one lives next door.
What?
Yeah.
How does
So
that work?
it's very difficult. I spend as little time with her as I can, but yet I let her know that her energy is very hard for me. She's a deep Catholic. She's very, very into that, and uh, I feel her anxiety when she's around me. So
The
I have
shame that comes with all that.
it's
Mhm.
so much, and she's never going to change. I'm not gonna
Yep.
ask for that. I'm going to separate myself as much as possible. Thank God I live with my mom because my father passed 2 years ago.
Mhm.
We have had a lot of healing because many times she has chosen my 4 stepsisters and brother over me, her only blood. And I've had to detach from her, right?
Mhm.
I've had to figure out how to find the love in myself that I don't need her love.
Right. Yeah.
That is what has helped me. So now she can go show as much love and energy to these others. I'm no longer affected by it. Or if I am, it's a small trigger, right? It's a small emotion now. 'Cause I've
Right.
worked it out of my system. I
Yeah.
detached because I can't the love I have is gonna be for myself. Like, I'm not gonna abandon myself anymore, even if you do. That's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. And I think for me, this is why I've been on this kick lately of making sure people understand what I mean when I say self-soothe and, like, talking to my nervous system is, like, I am my own mother all the time and not the mother always that I need at 45, the mom I really needed at 5, you know? Like, that little girl who's the one who just doesn't feel safe and, protected, that's who I'm talking to all the time, and I mean all day, every day, because I still have a touchy nervous system, and we're experiencing a recent loss, and that has my nervous system all jacked too. It was traumatic, and so I'm just constantly comforting myself. You know what I mean? Like constantly. But it's important because that's where all the love that you can give to anyone else has to come from anyway, you know? Well, did you find that whole process of acceptance so much easier once you learn to give yourself all that compassion? It was, like, so much easier to extend it to her.
It became since I've lived here, I'm doing the work every day. This is a journey that we don't stop, right?
Mhm.
Every day is something new. So I'm sitting here in a when my father died, and I'm gonna move up here, and my sister next door doesn't want me to because she wants the control of my mom. Um, w we're in a meeting with the guy who's gonna lead the thing, and my mom, in front of all my stepsisters, I'm not her only blood, calls me the black sheep in front of the family.
Mm,
And
how sweet.
I just so triggered, I just started bawling, I ran to my room. She had no idea why. She's very unaware, she still is.
Mom, do you know what black sheep means? Shit.
But,
That wasn't a compliment.
now I'm like, "Yeah, I see what you're choosing. You're choosing" now, let me tell you, the father she chose since I was 16 years old was an amazing man. He told her he loved her every day.
Oh,
He has set us up financially, all of us, that I don't have to work. I'm not here
how
to work.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that he is the most loving man, and I'm so happy for her. But again, she hasn't found that self-love. Let me give you one little example. My mom says, "I grew up just fine." The baby boomer. "I had a perfect childhood." And then 2 weeks later, she's like, "Well, did I ever tell you I sucked my thumb till I was 12?
Yeah.
My brother wet his bed till he was 10." I'm like, "And you don't think that's trauma?"
The boomers,
Oh.
I'll tell you, it's such a trigger point for me, and I know that it's just because of my own caregivers, but damn, I'm like, "No, see, honey, your inability to see that that stuff wasn't normal." And so many in my generation are still having such a hard time holding both, which is I don't have to hate them. I can say they did the best they could and still say the best wasn't anywhere near what it should have been, you know?
Yeah.
I will even forgive you because you didn't know better. Like you did not I didn't know better and I didn't start having children until 2002. I didn't have the information I have now. Of course, I would have made different decisions if I'd had the right information. Of course, I would have. They would have too. I have to believe that. I believe we are too good at our core to willfully, knowingly, intentionally cause the level of harm that the boomers as a generation have caused children, grandchildren. I mean, really, they have. But I believe in the goodness of who we are. So I know that they would have done better if they had known better. But damn it, it's still a trigger to hear yeah, this kids these days are just too sensitive. You're just too sensitive. If I
You know
never
how
hear
many
that
times
phrase
my
again.
mom calls me sensitive all the time. "You're just
Oh,
too
yes,
sensitive."
you're too
I'm like, "You
sensitive.
better believe I am. I
Am I
am
too
my
sensitive
energy
or
is."
did you just say something really shitty? Like, what? Yeah. That one's a
Yes.
big one for me.
So, but I'm the good thing about my mom and I is I'm able to tell her everything I feel, whether she understands it or not. She kind of believes in the aliens and reads some things where she's open minded at least.
Yeah,
And that's the first thing. I mean, you have to be open minded because we got a lot of stuff coming.
tell me about it. Okay, I have a question though, because this is an area that I have identified as real struggle for me. Um, if I know, maybe not even know, if I'm really afraid that the person I'm going to express a feeling to related to their behavior and its impact on me is going to give me, a real like boomer kind of answer back to it. That has been something that has shut me down my whole life. And then I created all this protective factors around it and pushed people away and all the things. I haven't had real opportunity to practice this in a long time because I've become so just in my bubble.
Mhm.
How did you get to a place where you could feel safe? Like, if even now, if she says something, like, you're too sensitive, how do you navigate that for yourself?
So I think it was having the experience where in a meditation, I was able to choose that I'm not going to abandon myself anymore. It was an experience that I had where I was like, "Wow, okay, here I am. You're right. I'm no longer gonna choose to abandon me." So, even if maybe it does trigger me right away and I have something come up, I will easily take some time, take some breaths, walk away, and come back. There's the
Yeah.
response versus the reaction, which is
Yes.
something I like to teach women. You have to breathe before you respond,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, and I think too, I get it in my head that that initial response is all there is. Like, it's hard for me when I'm scared to think about the next step, which
So you
is,
keep saying
and then
words
you
like
recover.
you keep saying words like scared and fear. Now those are things I have personally and physically worked on removing from myself is fear. So that for you, I would say is something I would work on exactly what that fear is. Where does that fear come with the boomers for you? There was an experience that put that pattern there for you for that to even be a trigger, right? It's an engram
Right.
that's kind of
Right.
planted. So let me just tell you really quickly one of the things I learned. I was taught to basically just get into a relaxed state and kind of tell the story again. So let's say I'm telling my story about how I found out about my sister and all those emotions come up. Well, you got to let them come up. It's feeling it. It means they're moving. And you
Mhm.
tell the story over and over to where it kind of climaxes, which it does. And then now you're telling the story and there's no feeling to it. So now you've kind of removed part of that energy. And with my sister, I think it took like 3 separate times to do that for it to really work where I wasn't crying every time, I
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
her. Yeah. So
Wow.
so that kinda works too, and that's something anybody could do by themselves in front of a mirror. Really just get that emotion out, because you have to feel it to heal it. There's no doubt about it. If you're pushing it down, it's just running underground for you, right?
Yep.
It's just letting
Yes.
it go.
And that was my MO. All of life was, I mean, there was some real creative stories that I wrote around why, and I believed all of it too. But through grief, truly, I've kind of been like, "Oh, no, you really do have to get it out." I mean, there wasn't a lot that I needed to say before, and now there's lots of stuff that has to be said all the time because just makes you sick if you keep it in. And so I really had to learn, like, there doesn't you don't have to be afraid to say stuff because you're not saying it for your friend to be a therapist or for somebody to validate what and then all the well-meaning, well-intentioned things that people say to me during this time, I had to learn how to get through that too because I'm in a raw period. And I've noticed recently that part's gotten better, but it all just had to boil down to, okay, you just get it out. Like, that's the only goal in it is to get it out, period.
Yeah. Yeah, that because you're otherwise you're keeping it in, And so I've created like a speech to kind of get women out of themselves where there's some shifts you can take to help yourself. And I created some tools. And so I'm really hoping to help women just by speaking. It just uh, there's no other answer but yourself. There really isn't. There's no other
Mhm.
control, there's no outside source that's going to save you, help you. You have to go within and find that light, you know?
Do you think that the vibrations and the energy in your voice are like everybody's magic?
Yes, I believe in that. And that's something I actually plan to kind of create is like this whole, you know, persona of a speech because I want my speech to really make an impact. I want women to leave there going, I'm choosing myself. I'm leaving here choosing myself, you know?
Yeah.
Not necessarily choosing me to help them. That is not but I want women to walk out and start choosing themselves. And I'm going to give them tools. They're going to walk away with some knowledge and they're going to start choosing themselves today. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's gotta happen, but I wanna get them excited, and I want them to see why they can choose themselves and what it's done for me. I went from struggling, living in lack, scarcity, alcoholic, smoking cigarettes, eating horrible food, to a healthy, vibrant, loving human being who enjoys waking up every single day. And I've also manifested the forest I live in. I get to go walk in waterfalls every day and by rivers. I've manifested the people around me not having to work. I have money coming in and I don't have to work for it. That is the life I'm living right now because
Yeah.
I have cleared out the stuff that I didn't even know needed to come out.
Yeah. That is powerful stuff.
We say trauma, but it's the emotional numbness and the attachments. You said validation. So once I had that experience of I don't need I'm not going to abandon myself anymore. My mom would say something and I'm like, I don't need your validation. I wouldn't say that, but it was like I don't need you to validate me. I'm already validating myself. So I do wake up
Yeah.
every morning and I'm choosing myself first. And if you start with that intention, that's the best intention you can have.
Do you think that she still would refer to you as the black sheep?
Yes, because I don't I'm absolutely separated from my family in the most energetically possible way. Like I'm no longer doing any of the holidays that are next door at my house because I don't believe in them. I don't believe in the pagan holidays. So I choose not to go. My mom accepts it. That's all I ask. Accept me who I am. Call me what you want.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
If I can sit here and tell you I'm the happiest I've ever been and I'm doing something right with myself, that's all I need. Go do what you want. Go say what you want. Go be who you
Right.
want. It
Right.
doesn't affect me anymore. I'm in my bubble.
Isn't the bubble so fun?
I love the bubble.
I love that you're getting to walk in waterfalls every day.
I'm gonna be out there today. I'm a water sign and I love to be around water and I'm in it. And I've got the trees to hug and I'm looking forward to the day I can see the fairies and all the elements out there.
Right? What state are you in?
I'm in Oregon.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you are just loving it.
Yeah.
Just out there frolicking and whimsical.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. I love
So
that for
look at my
you.
life, 6 years ago, working full time, hating myself, hating my job, unable to communicate with my husband, right? And it was funny because I was manifesting. I was starting my process and I remember manifesting, I want to leave my husband and all I want is my dog in my car. And it's like a month later, here I am crying my eyes out with my dog in the back in my car going, I'm like, oh shoot, I wanted this to happen, right?
Yeah. What is the relationship like with you and your kids now?
Absolutely amazing. I'm no longer an alcoholic.
Yeah. What has repair with them been like for you?
Um, Asking for forgiveness. They're both remarried. They're happy. They've got careers that they've chosen that are okay. Yes, there's traumas within them.
Sure. Yeah.
My son, I'll have a spiritual conversation with him, and he just like, "Yeah, okay."
He's not into it?
No. But he just had a grandchild, which you better guarantee I'm gonna be that grandmother. That's his angel, like my grandmother was mine.
Oh, how sweet.
Mhm.
Is that the only grandchild you have?
Yes.
Oh, and then you also have a daughter?
I have a daughter and a son, yeah.
Oh, and do they live close to you?
No, they're both in California. I was in California most of my life, but my mom moved up here, met her husband, so that step family of mine is all Oregonians.
Yeah, okay.
When he passed, I moved up here to be with my mom.
That's cool. Do you get
Yeah.
to see your kids very much?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I go down probably every 2 to 3 months to go see
That's
them.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna get to have so much fun as a grandma.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
How has spirituality helped your grief?
Well, so, it's again, it's the same thing. Like I said, going through the story. Going through the
Mhm.
story, get that energy out and getting it to climax was really it for me. It's you have to continue to let it come up, right? So if my mom says something triggering to me and it starts to come up, I have to look at myself. I can't just go, "Oh, whatever, I'll just accept it." Because then you're abandoning yourself again.
Yeah.
So it's really just choosing that I'm gonna be here for myself every step of the way and learning that pattern. It's a pattern it's a habit.
Mhm.
Self-sabotage or self-love, right?
So true.
Mm,
Gosh.
yeah. How
And
about you with grief? How are you? Because this is kinda raw for you.
um I would say if I didn't have the belief system that I have, I probably wouldn't make it. But um I don't know, for me, I think just all the emotional work I've done and all of the healing prepared me in a way to be able to face this because I knew I was enough to face it. And I have this whole beautiful box of tools at my disposal. But in terms of like my beliefs, I believe we chose this and he knew what signing up to be my child was going to be.
Mhm.
I knew what signing up to be these children's parent was going to be before we ever did this. And with my own parents. And so I guess it helps to alleviate any of that, like, normal, I think, remorse, regret, guilt stuff, like, I will allow it to come up, but I don't entertain it at all because it's easy for me to be like, "And it's not gonna change anything, and it wasn't supposed to change." Like, this was our struggle, like, we all have struggles, and this was ours, and so I think that really helps,
That's
I
very
mean,
healthy. Very healthy.
yeah, I mean, so it's kind of, managing grief for me really is just making sure that I stay in a really good energetic place. I don't do things that I don't want to do. I don't do things that I dread. Like I need this connection really bad. And so it has to be like a conversation that lights me up. So
Of
that's
course.
been like just getting really, really sure, even more so than ever, about what my yeses are and what my nos are and standing in the authority of that. That's been really important and talking about it. So just really and also just taking care of myself, making sure I'm getting sleep, canceling shit and sleeping if that's what I have to do. Just making sure those physical needs are met. So, yes, it's hard and it's like I'm about to start my period and we're approaching a full moon, so it's heavier right now, but I just try to stay in a really good energetic space, and I feel like that's probably the unique gift that I have versus the rest of my family. Even though I'm a really good model for them about how to talk about it, openly and whatever, they don't share my beliefs. Like my oldest son, I mean, my daughter's only 12, but I do feel like I'm in the best position here because it's there's no pain around stuff that I experienced pain for, like when I lost my parents or my grandma or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's just the pain of loss, but it's not torture. It's not suffering. It's pain, but it's
Now,
not
how are you
torturous.
on death? Do you fear death? You have big fears of death or
For myself,
Mhm.
not for myself, I've always well, my dad died when I was 15, so that really, like I remember the shift in what it did, and that has come up big time. It was always there, but that's been the one key factor of dysregulation for me is it's all the time now because well, for one, this was my worst fear, not just losing a child, but like finding your child. You know what I mean? So, um that's always been a fear of mine. In some ways I think that so much of that was intuition, but I I find that, like, I'm constantly like, "Oh my god, are you alive?" Like, with my husband's taking a nap or something, or I wake up in the morning and I don't hear him breathing, "Oh my god." So stuff like that. I don't worry, especially now, I don't worry for myself, but I do constantly worry about it for everybody else.
Oh.
I kinda quit being I used to be afraid, but once I got really spiritual and understood what that realm was, I was like, that don't sound too bad, really.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not afraid of that at all for me. I
Yeah.
sometimes will get afraid because I think about how sad it would be, like, if my older son found me, but, like,
That's
it'll
just
it'll hit me right
overthinking,
before
right?
bed. Yeah, but I'm like, "Eh," like, it's very fleeting, and I never really worry about me anymore, I just worry about everyone else.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, this whole guilt thing, this whole guilt and fear, it solves nothing.
Nothing.
We carry it around like it's the heaviest baggage, right? And yet we will punish ourselves. If we feel
And,
guilt,
like, it's permanent.
we are subconsciously going to punish ourselves. So what did I
Mhm,
do when my sister died? I guilted into it's my fault, right? And
mhm.
the anger too and all that. But the fear too, I like to explain that fear is something we create because the only fears God intended for humans to have is the fear of falling and the fear of loud, sharp noises, like you're going to jump. Every other
Mhm.
fear you have is created,
Yeah.
but it is the choice you make in having the faith that God's got this whole plan for me. So, airplanes, people are afraid of airplanes. I'm already like, nope, that's not how I'm going down. I can fly anywhere, anytime. So it's a
Yeah.
fear, it's a belief that has been created in a pattern by yourself that you can get rid of. And so I've released so many fears, fear of death, fear of this, fear of that, all of it. I just it's like I'm living in a fearless world that feels enjoyable now, right?
Yeah, because I used to really live inside. I was overprotective, overbearing, everything was just, like,
You
planned
had to
to the
control.
T.
Mhm.
Mhm. Lots. Yeah, because I mean, that's what you're gonna do when you're afraid is try to control everything. So but what I learned too is, like, that's just our brain's inherent ability to try to protect us is to make you get really caught up in some thought loop over and over because then you don't actually have to look at anything. You can avoid so much when you just live inside your brain ruminating over shit that may never happen and is likely to never happen. You can avoid a lot of things in life doing that.
The comfort of being, ignorant, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, and I always say like the things that you feel when you finally start to feel are so much less painful than all the things you ever did to try not to.
Well, I know you have to wrap up, but I do want to end with one big thing, and that is the way to get out of our heads and overthinking is to literally sit and concentrate on our heart and concentrate on if your heart is blocked, like believe me, I had walls up around my heart, right?
Mhm.
50 years of building. So I couldn't even get to my heart, but you have to keep going in. Like I like to imagine breathing into my heart and then it expands, breathing, it expands, right? I've even put a chair in my heart that I can go sit in. It's a big, cozy, fluffy
Oh.
chair. So it's my control center. So the heart's the answer. I've just to get out of overthinking, anxiety, put your hand on your heart and breathe into it. That's going to stop all of it. And that's what's helped me practice.
I love that because I always say out of your head into your heart, but I've never really had a full practice for that. So I love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, so
good.
before we go, tell us all the ways in which we can find you.
Gosh, I'm not really out there right now because I didn't decide to be a coach to be an influencer. So I've really fought being on social media every single way. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I'm on Instagram, but I do have a website and that's probably the best way. And
Okay.
that is www.powercoach uh, slash crystal.com, and you can book a call with me for 10, 15 minutes. I do one-on-one coaching, but really my biggest program right now is a 12-week, and this really is about women training themselves to get into themselves. So, for instance, week 1 is about self-awareness. Monday, you're gonna spend 15 minutes in the morning on a self-awareness exercise. Tuesday morning, something different. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday's reflection. The second week, you're getting into self acceptance. So I've created some tools in a workbook that really gets women inside themselves. Start thinking, what did you notice when that came up? How are you breathing into this? What are your goals? Do you have any boundaries? What kind of values do you have? So
Mhm.
within this 12 weeks of doing this workbook, it gives you kind of some training into, connecting to yourself. Because a lot of women, when you say go within, what does that mean? How do I get into myself, right? How am
Mhm.
I supposed to get to know myself? And so I've created a 12-week workbook to get to know yourself
I
with
love
tools.
that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really cool program.
Yeah. So
Well, I
that's,
will also make sure to include that in, like, your website in the show notes, and I just really appreciate you being here today.
oh, thank you so much. And I love your podcast. So I plan on going to listen to some more. So that's great. I love what you're doing.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm gonna push stop if you don't mind hanging out for 1 sec while it uploads.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.